which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Today is February 3rd, 2022. This is the Environmental Board. We have an agenda that we're going to follow. So the first applicant is Diana Lowenberg, 260 Westlake Boulevard. Will you please state your name and who you're here to represent?
I am Ed Mitchell. I represent Jack Carrell for the owners of 260 Westlake Boulevard, Diana Lowenberg.
Okay. There were no comments or questions from the public. We have to do the EAF and have to sign the permit. Were any changes made to the plans as you previously submitted them?
We made the changes that were asked to us by the board. We added the construction sequence, the silt fence around the garage on both sides of the driveway, and I believe that was it.
Okay.
Two other items that we asked for, info on the slate dock and patio repair, like how you were going to do that. I assume that was included in the sequence of construction?
That was in the sequence of construction.
All right, and the other item was any information on additional landscaping that was going to be taking place?
They were, I mean, it's just minor stuff. They planted some bushes originally. The landscaping is just going to be around, you know, the slate patio. Nothing was added to the plan on that.
No. I mean, it's going to be fine.
Seed is following, it's got some backfill there, all right.
No machinery is needed.
All right, do you know if they're going to be planting any, just out of curiosity, any large trees or anything like that?
No, I believe they've already done that.
Okay.
Okay, so then with that, do I have a motion to grant permit number 975 to Diana Lowenberg for 260 Westlake Boulevard with the following condition, that town wetland inspector do a pre and post site visit for the installation of erosion control. Do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
I have a second.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
You can see Rose on Monday,
Okay.
Tuesday, Monday, and then get your permit, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use, planning or zoning regulations? No. Will the proposed action result in change in the use or intensity of land use? No. Will the proposed action impair the character, quality of the existing community? No. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in adverse change in existing level of traffic? No. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy that fails to incorporate reasonable energy conservation? No. Will the proposed action impact public-private water, private wastewater? No. Proposed action impair the character of important historic, architectural resources? No. Will the proposed action result in adverse change to natural resources? No. Will the proposed action result in increase in potential for erosion? No. And will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources? No. Okay, one down. Okay, next item is submission for an application, a letter of permission. Louis Pissato. (24 Wood Street), proposed addition.
Yeah, you could use that, you just have to.
You could just pull it out. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to share, or you want to?
Yeah, we're good.
Please state your name and who you're here to represent.
My name is Robert Roselli, professional engineer. I'm here to representing the owner, Luis Pissato.
Okay. And tell us what you want to do there.
Basically, he just wants to put an addition on an existing house. There's a stream behind there, and there's a wetland that runs along the edge of the stream. And right now, I mean, the entire house, existing house, garage, driveway is all within a 100-foot buffer, so we're just adding to the house.
Okay,
Stream?
so the 100, so could, the blue line to the left,
To your left?
my left, your right,
Yep.
next to the house, that's the 100-foot buffer, or where, that's,
Yes, yeah, this is the stream down here and the wetland. This is the 100-foot buffer, and this is Wood Street out here.
okay, so the whole house is in the 100-foot buffer.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see what we got here. Now, do you have the, what's the total square footage of disturbance?
It's just basically the addition, 630 square feet.
630 in the 830.
Oh, 830, I'm reading it off of here, so, okay, 830, sorry.
So 830, okay, and so,
That's the new impervious surface.
That's
That's not
the-
the
yeah.
area of disturbance, though.
Right.
Still have to go around that too, right?
well, it's, where you're looking at 1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
So then the, so how are we gonna mitigate? So I need on here, are you gonna be using a machine to dig the foundation?
I assume they'll be using like a backhoe to dig for the foundation, yes.
Okay, so I need to have a spill kit
Okay,
shown on here. I need to have a fueling area shown on here,
And plan.
on the plan. I need to, at night, I want the excavator or the machine stored on 6 mil poly.
Maybe we could say fueling, like the fueling plan area. It should, if you can
Yes.
keep it on the asphalt. I mean, I wouldn't say go on Wood Street necessarily, but at least on the existing asphalt. So that should be a note on here.
okay.
Or over poly, I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, we could put it out of the road, I don't care.
Whatever. Plan/plan.
And stockpile.
There is a soil stockpile location already. What do you, is anything being demolished for this?
No,
You obviously need to level that area, grade it at all? Are you bringing in any fill?
no, it's pretty level right now. I mean, it grades naturally. I don't anticipate a lot of grading.
Yeah, also, you may wanna give me some mitigation,
Mm-hmm.
like a wet, the rain garden or something. You're not cutting any trees down, right?
No,
And he shows the silt fence. That's cut dry. All right, so,
Can you point, if you don't mind, pointing out the silt fence? Is that? Oh, I
right
see it,
here,
I see it.
right
yeah.
here.
Going all the way
Silt
around like
fence
that.
is right there.
Fine.
He's protecting it between him and the lake, the
No
river,
problem.
the stream.
Is there anything between the house and the road in terms of like intermittent streams? Is there any divots there that collect water or anything like that?
no, it's flat and then it gets pretty steep when you get near the stream, so there's nothing.
I meant between the house and Wood Street. That's where I meant. My apologies.
No, it's just yard,
Got it.
nothing
Yeah, well,
really.
everything pitches towards the
Towards
stream.
the stream, right?
Yeah,
Start at 105, 106, you go down to 85,
Mm.
83. All
I
right.
noticed there's gravel to the southern side.
That's out of the
and
wetland,
northern
out of the
side.
buffer.
No, it's in the
Some
buffer.
of it's in it,
bottom, below that. Yeah.
Here?
That's existing gravel?
Yeah,
That's
it's,
the existing
it's on,
garage.
everything's existing that's on the survey.
All right. This is not. All right, so what I need from you is spill kit, fueling area, store the machine, note on here, storing the 6 mil poly, show the fuel, that's the same thing, and then rain guard
Yeah.
mitigation.
So, just for your knowledge, what we require is if you are increasing the amount of impervious surface, in this case, a roof, in the
Right.
buffer area around a protected wetland such as a stream, then we need some sort of mitigation to help with water quality control.
Okay.
And so in this case, what we recommend, you can use whatever you'd like, there's different methods out there, is using something called a rain garden,
Sure.
which is planting a garden that catches water that comes off of, for instance, the leaders that might be coming down from the new addition.
Sure.
Instead of having them dump into grade, into going into the grass or whatever, you have them go into a little garden area that's planted with wetland plants that help retain the water and let it filter slowly over time, as
Sure.
opposed to just putting it into grade.
And when do you want to start this work?
Probably this spring sometime, March, April
Okay, so you
timeframe.
got some time, it's not a rush, right?
No, it's not, I don't think it's a huge rush.
Okay, the only other thing is you gotta put a note on the drawings that you will notify the wetland inspector after the silt fence is installed
Okay,
and post completion, okay?
okay,
He has to, after you put the silt fence up, you have to call the wetlands inspector, he has to come out, and look at it, and then you
Okay.
start your work, okay?
okay.
And then, check your stockpile detail. I don't think they use silt fence, I think it's hay bales, but just check, just double check on that.
Okay,
It's been a while. All right?
okay,
So we'll meet again in 2 weeks if we want to make the changes and resubmit.
okay.
All right?
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank
And,
you.
two other things, though, on the rain garden, there's the standard designs online that you can look up. You can also ask Rose, she may, in the engineering department, building department.
The engineering to building.
I don't know. You can ask Rose, and she may have, like a pamphlet on how the construction of rain gardens and all of that. It's nothing crazy, it's nothing fancy, but just to give you an idea. But there is a calculation we require. So if you have a certain number of square feet that you need to mitigate for, you have to
Right.
make the rain garden of a certain size. So there's a simple calculation you can use. You can find them online, but you can also find them up in the engineering department.
All right, well, that's in the stormwater manual, right? The-
Yes.
The rain
Yeah.
garden sizing
Yes.
calculations?
Yeah, it's online.
Sure.
You got it.
Okay,
And here's your deed.
Yep, I saw it already.
All right, good.
all right, thank you.
See you in a couple
Okay,
weeks.
all right, good night.
I think we're going to be dating Suez water before the night's out. Okay, Suez Water, New York, Archer Wells, 9 Colton Road, tree cutting, 15 trees. And of course, it's in the back. And nothing for me.
Look for trees. Look for trees. All the trees are right
All the
here.
trees are right there in that package. Hey, could you please state your name and who you're here to represent?
I'm John Kirkpatrick. I'm representing Suez Water.
And you have it on, unless, when they speak, please just, please state your name. All right?
Are you all together for Suez Water?
Yes, we're all together for Suez Water.
Thank you.
So we've got Steve Garabed as an engineering manager with Suez. Ramya Ramanathan is a planner with Atzel Engineers. Tom Hersel, engineer with Creamer. Jillian Arnold, environmental scientist with Gannett Fleming. Ryan Nasher is a partner with Atzel Engineers. Everybody's got a little piece of this because we're doing 5 of them at once.
You're doing more than 5.
Well,
Six.
Archer repeats. You'll see it down there at the bottom.
Right. All we're doing is, well, for the first one, the tree cutting, let's concentrate on because they're each separate individual
Sure.
things. You were already here for these, right?
All the others, yes, but not Archer. That one wasn't ready yet.
Okay, did she issue the letters? All right, so
Yes.
Archer. You want to walk us through Archer?
Sure. The concept is the same, that we've got to put in a building that will have a carbon filtration added to the water system. Great. And unfortunately, it's just a reality. A good place to put in these wells is an area with a high water table, which is frequently wetlands. So,
Well, this one's for a tree cutting.
yeah, that's right.
All right, so wait a minute, so
Well, we're
before we
gonna-
keep going,
Stay with trees.
let me just understand something here. So all the sites that you got the tree cutting permits for previously,
Yes.
now you're here to upgrade the existing wells.
Now we're here for wetlands permits to upgrade the wells.
All right. Now I get, all right, I'm starting to see the forest.
It's all the same problem. We have to put in this new building,
Right.
so we have to cut some trees and we have to build in wetlands.
Okay, so the 15 trees you want to cut for Archer, for this application,
Yes.
where are the 15 trees?
Okay? Who wants to take that? Ramya Ramanathan?
I can bring the board forward if you'd like. It's all marked. The trees to be.
Nah, I got, I'll be all right, we'll be all right. Just state your name, please.
Ramya Ramanathan, planning analyst with Adzel Nasher and Ziegler, New City, New York.
Okay.
So, yes.
Just show us. The
So,
last guy you brought, put it on the computer. I'm teasing.
okay, so I'm going to go on. Most of the tree cutting, if you'd see, is on the proposed access driveway. So that's really something we're not able to avoid with the site development constraints that we have
Okay.
presently. So most of it is just stemming from that. And we did mark the buffers. The thick outer line that you see would be the 100-feet buffer. And we showed the interim area with some hatched dots. So you can make out the space between where the wetland is and where the 100-feet buffer is. And we marked the trees to be removed in a cross if you have the plan.
Okay. And how, you put an inventory in here, how many trees you're cutting?
Yes, you should have a tree legend on the top right corner of that plan.
Proposed access. Are we gonna use the same plans for the next application as well?
For the next Archer application, yes.
Archer application.
Correct.
So let's just get through Archer first.
That sounds great.
Here you go. Give us a second.
Take your time.
So I see the 15 trees. I see the tree legend. And did you put in how you're gonna cut the trees down?
I'd defer that question to Tom Herschel, if that's okay.
Yeah, that was part of the,
tree clearing application. For this site, we're really just going to go in there first and with climbers systematically cut the limbs, the larger limbs, and cut the main, trunk of the tree and lower it.
But so basically you're using chainsaws?
Yeah,
Chainsaws, and you're not bringing in heavy equipment into the area, and you're just using chainsaws and chippers?
correct.
Okay. Now, this is a couple days worth of work, obviously. You're going to, where's the buffer? Could you show me on that map where the buffer is?
Sure. So this line that you see, the thick black line, and this being the site itself, the circle. So everything in here would be the buffer. this area is the 100 feet buffer.
And where's the, can you delineate the wetland?
I'm sorry about that. Kind of an odd size. Sorry, I missed your question.
The wetland that you're at, that's 100 feet from.
Is going to be this dashed dotted line on the plan.
I
It's
see.
hard for me to show. It's this one
Got it.
that extends there.
Is there any, is any of the, either trees being, I mean, I guess we're talking about the trees.
Oh, so you're working in the wetlands?
Right.
Yes.
You're in the wetlands? Right.
Right.
Okay, so this, so I got it
And
now.
there's this,
So the wetland, so that bubble that around the whole thing, that's your 100-foot buffer from this site, from your circle.
literally.
From the wetlands.
Right, so
From-
the wetlands surround your area, your work area.
Yes.
I'm gonna just come out.
Sure, that'll be great.
These are all the trees that are gonna be removed. Okay. Okay.
So this is your buffer,
Correct.
here's your wetlands and within the circle.
Yes, this is the wetland boundary.
They are
Wetlands.
some in,
Correct.
some out.
Correct.
Right, so you're working in the wetland.
Yes, the wetland kind of extends outside the property lines itself, but yes, some of the work would be in the
Well,
wetland.
If this is the 100-foot buffer, you're
Yes.
not here.
No.
You're here.
Yes.
So you're in the buffer, you're in the wetland. Okay.
There are a number of trees being cut that are not in the wetlands that are, I see
Right,
as
which I
well,
don't really care.
but there are a number that are as well. Okay. All right.
All right, just gotta give me a little,
And then two in the buffer, rest
I've
in.
never had this in the wetlands like this before.
I mean, and temporary access.
I
road.
wanna limit the amount of vehicles and stuff that go in that property. Okay? So, is there any way by next week I can get a staging plan and how you, because I really don't wanna have, because we're in the wetlands, right? And if I drive large trucks and chippers and stuff, it's gonna just basically chew it up, chew the area up, in my opinion, right?
So this site is limited access-wise. So what we're proposing with regard to cutting the trees is to just cut the trees now and leave them because of the access issues. We can only walk equipment down to the site.
Okay, so you're gonna cut and leave them,
Correct.
just to, and stump them, that's all, just leave them there
Correct.
for in the future.
Right,
And
so
then
we
when
wouldn't be
you're-
bringing vehicles down at this time.
Okay,
Obviously, in the future, we'd have to bring the vehicles out.
okay, so do me a favor, for this particular project, what I'd like to have is, I would like you to, on the drawing, just show me where you're gonna stage the vehicles for your work, right? And that you're gonna be walking in, no vehicles are gonna enter the wetlands area at this time.
Right.
And then when we get to the next application, we can address that. 'Cause I know you have to cut trees before.
Right, because of
Sooner
the
than
bats,
later.
we have to cut the trees
So,
sooner.
show a staging area. Provide details, sequence of work, and then no vehicles will enter at this time.
Right.
All work by hand.
Well, it's all.
Correct.
It's all by hand, so.
And you're also gonna limit the amount of gasoline and stuff you bring in, you'll leave it at the trucks. If they hang outside the buffer, just let them fuel up, fuel outside the buffer, how's that?
Sure.
And it doesn't make any sense to make you add any silt fence or anything, because you're just dropping trees.
So this, just so I understand this, this is in connection with the second part of this project, which we'll see in a moment, which is the remainder of the upgrade to this facility or building this
Yeah, it's gonna
facility
be
as
the
well
building
as
of the
the.
building, it's
road
probably
and-
the rest of the road,
Right.
it's probably the building, and are you drilling a well?
The wells already exist, we're just adding treatment.
Okay, all right, so
Right.
let's just close one thing out at a time, all right?
And the reason we split them was, again, because we have this time
Window.
frame where we
I
have
get it,
to,
I get it.
you know, for the
Makes
bats.
sense, makes perfect sense to me. So, I'm gonna make a motion.
I do, I want to make sure though that if we're putting this tree permit, or this tree cutting permit in place, that if we're asked, if we want mitigation, that will be with the following permit then, right?
Sure, because that's what they're doing the most work on,
Works for me.
right?
Yeah.
Makes sense,
I'm
right?
okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Okay, so I make a motion then to grant tree cutting permit for Suez Water, New York, at 9 Colton Road, tree cutting of 15 trees with the following conditions, that it has to be submitted by Monday. Demonstrate staging area on the drawing, provide a detailed sequence of work. No vehicles will enter enter the wetland buffer during this work, during this time. All work will be performed by hand and fuel outside the buffer. Okay, we good with those? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Is there a list of the type of tree, size and tree?
Yes,
tree
Yes.
schedule?
yes.
Got it.
Yeah, it's on the top right. This drawing,
What number?
5.
Number 5.
Thank you. And the tree to be removed, which ones will be removed? Crossed out ones? Ones that are crossed out? Yes.
Yeah,
Great.
the X on them,
Beautiful.
just,
Ash, maple, maple. Lots of one ash. All the ash are going away anyways.
ash.
Yeah, the ash borers.
So you got your, all right, so now we're gonna jump, so everybody's good with this one, right?
5, 6, 7, 8. What? Something. 5. Right.
Okay, so the Archer Wells tree cutting is approved. While we have the drawings on our desk, let's do number 8. So we're going from 3 to 8. And Suez Water, New York, 9 Colton Road, upgrade to existing well site.
My name is John Kirkpatrick, representing Suez Water.
You don't have to introduce everybody until they talk, because this is gonna be like a
Okay,
comedy.
good.
We're gonna be here all night.
Good. But I remembered my name.
You get bonus points for that.
So I'm asking Ramya Ramanathan to take us through what this means for the wetlands.
So would you have questions first, or should we introduce? I don't know.
would
which
like
way.
you, introduce yourself and then tell us what your plans are at this site.
Okay.
How you're going to affect the wetland, everything from the 100-foot buffer to ground zero.
All righty. So Ramya Ramanathan, again, planning analyst with Adzel, Nasher and Ziegler. We're here in general, like Mr. Kirkpatrick explained, for Suez Water, New York. They have to upgrade their water treatment facilities to bring it up to code. The state has a mandate for, improving the maximum contaminant level. It has to be 10 parts per trillion of PFAS, which is an improved standard of purification that they have to now upgrade their facilities to. So in general, that applies to all the 5 sites we're here for. For this site in specific, the upgrades would include upsizing of the existing well pumps, installation of a pre-filtration system, and installation of a GAC treatment system, which is granular activated carbon. All of this helps in purifying the water to a better standard.
So let me ask a question. So on your drawing there, we're going to be installing a gravel road from Colton Road, which is up there on your left, Colton Road, all the way down to the bullseye there, right?
Yes.
Correct. Gravel road and then going to the site.
Okay. Okay, so everything outside that 100-foot buffer, I don't care what you do. Okay, so now you come into the 100-foot buffer for the road, and then I'm going to, for lack of a better word, the compound that you're doing here, okay? You're showing it, what is the area of disturbance?
Yes, I do. Just give me a second. I have all my numbers with me.
While you're pulling that up, I'd also like to ask a little bit back to high level of narrative here.
Sure.
You're built, so what is existing at that site right now?
Well, what's there now are two wells, a pump building, and connections to the water system.
And a what?
Connections to the water system
Okay.
that serves this subdivision,
Okay, so you have 2 wells and some minor equipment, right?
Well,
and a small
pump
building
house.
that has the,
So are you demoing the small building?
no, we can't do that. That'd be nice, but it has to keep operating
It's 0.2.
full speed while we build the filtration plant alongside it.
Is that, which one of these buildings is the old building? I'm gonna say the little square one.
Correct. So if you see sheet number 2, that's going to be the existing conditions plan, which would show you what's there on the site right now.
And current access is through the road that's coming off of Archer Road, the existing access road A, correct?
Correct.
What is the reason you're abandoning that route?
The owner of the farm has decided to cut off access.
That wasn't very nice.
No, wasn't.
And I assume that there's not like a, what are those called? Access, what are those?
Easement.
Easement, there's not, that wasn't an easement road, that was.
It
just an
was,
agreement?
it was, arguably, it was what's called a prescriptive easement in the sense that the owners of this system have been using it since it was built. They've always come in that way, but the gentleman who owned the farm, who happened to be the same gentleman who had built the water system, sold it, or his heirs sold it, and the new owner put up a fence and some landscaping and cut off the road.
All right, that makes sense. Okay, so the way I'm seeing this is you have the existing building there. Then you're gonna come in, keep that building maintained. You're not re-drilling the wells, correct?
No, the wells will remain as they are.
Are you gonna develop the wells, or you're just gonna, they don't need to be developed?
They don't need to be redeveloped or anything like that. Their production rate is fine as far as I've been told.
Okay. Is there a sequence of construction on these drawings?
We did provide one with the submission set. There should be 11 by 17 sequence of construction. And to answer your question.
That's a schedule, yeah, I saw that.
Correct.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes, and the area of disturbance you asked for is going to be 0.2 acres on this site.
0.2
Acres, or about 10,000 square feet.
Okay, so now, did you do a SWIP?
Yes.
Is that the DEC, is that approved yet, or that goes to the DEP?
Okay, let me introduce Ryan Nasher from Axel Nash & Ziegler. Yes, we did the full stormwater pollution prevention plan is because the disturbance is more than 5,000, and for the DEC general construction permit, you have to prepare the full stormwater pollution prevention plan.
I know that.
And we did.
Okay, we're gonna need a copy of the SWIP.
Sure. I thought it's been provided as
I have a letter.
No?
Yes, actually, I spoke to Rose about that, and she said the town engineer has it, and they didn't need copies, but if you do, we can definitely.
Nope, that's the town because the town engineer is gonna review it and approve it,
Yeah, that's what she said.
so.
And just for reference, he called me today, right before the meeting, and he said he was happy. Just only one item that he asked for, just to do the test hole, the location of the rain garden
Show
that
the
we're
location
proposing.
of the test hole.
And we've been trying to get a test hole scheduled, but because of the weather, we are just really holding back.
Right.
So as soon as the weather permits, we're going to schedule the test hole, and we'll provide the data to your office, to the town engineer, and we'll take it from there.
And, all right, so is the building gonna be prefabbed?
Yes.
Okay, so you're gonna have a prefab building, just drop it and connect the pipes, right? Electric.
Yes.
Okay, do you have to run new electric to this thing?
To the new building, yes.
And
Yeah, we don't need a new electric service to the
So you're
facility.
gonna tap off the existing?
Exactly.
Okay. Is this building gonna be put on a concrete slab as a foundation?
Yes.
Okay, so you're gonna need to provide us with concrete washout area. You need to show a staging area on this thing. Are you gonna leave equipment on site overnight?
Yes.
Is there a spill plan and a fueling plan in these beautiful drawings?
Not as of now.
Spill plan,
No
fueling plan.
No
Now,
fueling.
because you're working within the 100-foot buffer, you're gonna have to store whatever material, equipment that has fuel or oil in it, it has to store on 6 mil poly at night,
Or out of the wetland.
or out of the wetlands.
Flat and the.
Out of the 100-foot
Right,
buffer.
right.
Oh, okay, out of the buffer too, okay. Is that okay?
Now, what about silt fence?
There is a silt fence installed. Ryan, could you go back to the ocean, the sediment control plan? It shows.
You know, the older I get, these drawings get harder to read.
Which number?
We keep making the type smaller, that's all.
You're killing me.
Which number has the silt fence?
Number 4, it has labeled as SF line, which is really around the limit of the disturbance.
Beautiful.
And I have a detail of the silt fence right at the middle to the bottom.
Okay, so here's where I see something's a little crazy here to me, right? If you look at that drawing in the bullseye, around 330, you have that construction entrance, see detail 2.
It says,
So why is that a construction entrance there for the existing driveway, tied into the existing driveway if I'm building this brand-new road?
well, the reason we have this construction entrance here, because the construction entrance is made of the stones,
Microphone.
which is, oh, I'm sorry. The construction entrance is made of the riprap. And if you look at the existing entrance, the driveway, it is actually unpaved or no gravel. So that's why we
Okay, but
put
what
this.
what I don't understand is, what I'm having a hard time with is, if you're tying that existing driveway into the construction entrance, why am I doing that? If I'm not gonna use that road anymore, why do I need to riprap it?
So access to this site is complex. Right now, we only have an easement that we can walk down. We are in the process of buying property from the county. And that's
Now, where would that property be?
up here, up in this area.
Steve, you want to come over here? It's going to be easier for you.
Plot thickens.
Correct. So this, all of this property, we are going to buy from the county. In
So
addition.
you don't own this property yet?
We own the circle.
We own the circle, correct.
You own the circle.
And the county is committed to selling us the property, and the appraisal went to them today, and
Okay,
they're,
so here's where my predicament is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can only give you comments, I mean, I'll give you comments on everything,
Mm-hmm.
okay? But I can't approve the permit because you don't own the land.
You
Understood.
can get permission from the county.
If you
They
get a
give
letter
us
from-
a letter that says that they're committed to selling this, or that they approve the work that's being done here. By approve, they are approving you guys.
Yeah,
to do
something for the
that's
file
fine.
that
We'll
we have,
get that.
right.
you know?
And just, I'll further complicate it,
Thank you.
is we are still trying to get this as the access.
The bottom one.
The bottom one.
Which would be ideal. I was hoping you were going to say that.
Exactly. It is the ideal way to get there.
Right.
Are you pursuing that through like easement, I assume, like trying to, maybe you shouldn't comment on it, I don't know. That's fine.
We're pursuing it.
That's
We're
fine.
trying.
That's
All
fine.
right, so then why do we, I mean, at least you got some of our general notes. I mean, until the plans are a little firmed up, I mean, I can't really accept the application.
I know.
We understand.
So, I'd like to
How many
throw-
more of these we got in that box?
The others are actually easier.
I'd like to throw a few things out there. And like bottom of the barrel here, where we're trying to get to is the amount of disturbance you have is important because we need to mitigate that, both within the buffer and within the wetlands itself, flagged wetlands. Anything that you are taking from the wetlands and either turning it not into wetlands anymore by putting buildings on it or putting construction road or putting staging areas, whatever it is, that will be remaining that way moving forward. So any decrease of the wetlands, we need some sort of a mitigation elsewhere on the property or otherwise. We can do, that's part of what our charge here is. So it's generally 2 to 1. So
Well,
if
there's
you move a foot of wetlands, we need 2 feet of wetlands somewhere else. So I was very nervous about the road that you're putting in there, and I'm happy to hear about your pursuing, trying to keep that road that you currently have as the remaining road. That would be fantastic. You won't have to worry as much about that rule of removing wetlands or our guidelines of removing wetlands and then trying to get mitigation somewhere else. You can do that in a number of ways, and there's a number of people here, I'm sure that you've gone through this before, of like taking other areas of this and putting wetland seed mix down, trying to come up with ways to help with water quality in terms of runoff, which you're not going to have very much with the buildings you have here. But there's a number of ways out there that you can certainly figure that out. Rain gardens, that you have proposed ones there?
Yeah, they
That's
got two.
fantastic. So that's one.
Yeah, we also need the rain garden calcs, are they
Rain garden
included?
calcs. The other thing that I would like to throw on here is any trees that you're removing as part of the tree cutting permit, as I was mentioning before. I would like to see some sort of mitigation, if you're open for that, of planting other trees in this area. It's probably heavily wooded anyways, but anything that we can do to replant the trees that we cut down in terms of this is very much appreciated.
Okay.
You don't have to do it in kind, but you know what I mean? Like, we're not asking to plant a...
Just looking for some sort of
a
mitigation.
tree here, put some saplings.
Make it
in.
as good, if not
Right.
better than you left it. All right, so the only things I can see right now that really you need to address is, we know the area of disturbance is greater than 5,000. The SWIP is with Rich, it's currently under review. We need the concrete washout area, spill plan, fueling plan, staging all equipment on 6 mil poly at night. And then we really need your plan and how you plan on, road A or road B. I mean, for me to give you a blanket approval on something that you're still in the process of planning for, I really can't do, right?
Right. I understand. Yeah. So you guys didn't mention anything about like the federal or state wetland permits or anything like that? Is there
Well,
any concern there, or?
I'm concerned about the local, I mean, I'm sure you guys, you folks, you people, I took my training, have investigated whether or not this falls under state or federal jurisdiction, right? That this is probably just is this a local wetland, or is it a state, or is it a federal wetland?
Right.
I think it's the Army. Oh, I'm going to have expert to talk about it.
No, I'm Jillian Arnold. I did the delineation out there. I'm with Gannett Fleming. What?
Sorry, I think I just heard Army Corps, which means that this plot thickens even more.
Well, there is. There's a federal wetland. It's a federally regulated wetland, but it is permitted. So we have the permits in hand for the Army Corps impacts.
Did you include them in here? No, do you have the federal wetland permit that you?
I have it here. I can
Yeah,
give
can
it
you
to you.
submit it to Rose for, this way for the file?
You guys did not. Yeah, we can do that.
Not a problem.
We do not have a state-regulated wetland here. They did not want to take over any jurisdiction there, so.
Excellent.
But we have a state permit in hand, like we have, it's a water quality certification was already provided by the state, so.
Sure. If you could submit that too, we'd appreciate that.
Yep, absolutely.
Anything that you guys get from any other agencies regarding the water quality and the wetland protection.
The only thing that's also part of the set is the set of correspondences we have from the Army Corps and the DEC. I'm not sure if that has the permit per se, but we did give our latest communications.
I'll just take the permit.
Okay, all right, I'll
I'll just
check
take the
back.
permit.
Okay. Just them together.
We have
It
the
came in.
email from Brian, it should be in that. Brian
Email?
Orsel from the Corps gave us a blanket approval in an email, so.
Yes, that's a part of the set.
Which is half the
That I
battle.
know.
So if you really want to look at it, I mean, the feds win. All right, so for this application, we're gonna sit it on hold, we're gonna hold it, we'll shelve it until you submit the rest of the materials that we need, until you develop a plan that you're gonna use, which is, you know, which road you're gonna use. In the wetland. All that other fun stuff, right? You can go ahead with the tree cutting.
Yeah. Access road is going to be gravel, or the proposed access road that you had there is, what's that?
Yeah, it is gravel.
Gravel.
Are you gonna be
It's not
using that?
RCA, right? It's gravel.
Right now, it's mostly dirt, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You gonna use a filter fabric under it, or?
Yeah, it has to be, yeah, filter fabric, or it gets settled, you don't see it.
Well, we're
But
trying to
it's
find
not
out.
recycled materials, it's a pure gravel.
Fine, that's what, yeah, don't use I don't want recycled
No.
material.
And also not something like that compacts, like item 4, we're not looking for like, we want it to be
Like
water
a
to be able to
gravel.
get through it, right?
Yeah.
That's the point. So gravel's fine, pervious, right, pervious.
Pervious.
Your mitigation requirements, are those written down anywhere to make sure that we're covering it
Mitigation.
correctly?
It's in the code, but
It's in the code, okay.
So while I don't believe that there is a specific mitigation for any tree cutting, that's why I was saying, if you're open to it, we would really appreciate.
we go a
planting
long
trees.
way.
And there is not specific requirements other than the 2-for-1 in our code itself, other than a few options that are listed, as well as like a general.
Yeah, but there, if you look at it
state
though,
guidelines.
the road in the wetland and the treatment, the new treatment areas, they're only giving, they're considering, I think, the road is pervious, the gravel road.
Right. But
Right.
it does take away from the wetlands.
Right.
Like the amount of total wetlands.
Yeah, but they're putting in 2 rain gardens.
Yeah, I saw that. That's good. So you may be at the point where like you may have the
Just keep us happy.
roughly the combination there. But I do want to just make sure, like, if you've determined you're removing, 40 square feet of wetlands here, if you're now purchasing this property, and you already have the property within the circle, there seems to be definitely some area in there that you could put some wetland mix down, and we can try to incorporate into the existing wetlands there as.
Yeah, just have a restoration schedule in there, how
Right.
you're gonna restore the area after you're done. All right, you guys
Yeah.
done with that one?
Yeah. I'm gonna put it all back together. Hold on.
Going for a marathon tonight. That's it. Oh, I see what we did. I mixed up the files. I mean, I pulled the Archer, everything on this one. You're all right. You'll be okay.
Next to Archer?
This is
No, no.
Chairman, you want to go next to
Hold
Archer?
on a minute. Treatment. See, I mixed up, there were 2 applications.
One for the tree, one for the,
Yeah, one
yeah.
for the tree. Okay, next is 39 Brook Street.
Brook Street. This? Yeah. Nice and organized. Number 4.
39 Brook Street. Is that London Bridge? Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, want to walk us through it?
Oh, this is another tiny site. It is right up on the road. And again, I'm going to ask Ramya to take you through it.
So, similar to the previous site, the site upgrades over here include upsizing the existing wells, installation of a pre-filtration system, and installation of a GAC treatment system, which is again granular activated carbon. I can take you to the tree plan.
Is this the condition? This is not in a wetlands? Flagged by Steve Smith.
There's minimal temporary impact of the wetlands just for the installation of silt stock around the main part of the building and the driveway. There's minimal impact, and it's going to be temporary in nature where silt stock is being installed around the driveway. But everything, well, impacts are mainly in the adjacent area, the 100-foot buffer.
Okay, but, so my just, again, on the site plan, where is the 100-foot buffer?
So everything in the dots is the buffer. So most of the development is in the buffer.
Okay, so everything's in the buffer?
Yeah,
Okay, and you're planning to put a gravel driveway down?
correct.
And what's the area of disturbance?
It's going to be 0.35 acres for London Bridge, or about 15,000 square feet.
Okay, and you filed a SWIP?
Um,
You need all that road? I mean, you're right on the side of Brook Avenue.
That's to allow the carbon trucks to pull in so that we can load carbon. I mean, there may be a way to do away with that, but we'd have carbon trucks parked on the side of the road.
Yeah. Wow. And you're fencing in the whole area. Okay, well, a lot of the same comments would apply. So you need the SWIP. You would need concrete washout area, because I'm assuming everything's being constructed the same, right, on a concrete pad?
Yes.
Is this a federal wetland?
Yes, sir.
You have a federal wetland permit?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so concrete wash area, spill plan, I need a fueling plan. If you're staging any, if you're storing any equipment in this area, you have to store it on 6 mil poly. You have a federal permit, water, and you have the water quality agency as well.
We have a state permit, or a state wetland on this one that was
State-
approved by DEC.
Oh.
And we are in the process of technical review with DEC, so we do not have that permit yet in hand.
All right, so for the building, at least for the building and some of the road, can you just give us some mitigation, like a rain garden or something, or something in this compound?
Sorry for the interruption. When you said the mitigation, are you talking about the stormwater mitigation for the
No,
water
I'm
quality?
just talking about wetland,
Okay,
in the
understood.
buffer wetland mitigation. Just because, yeah, well, look, usually when we put buildings, this is about 660 square feet, I believe, the building. Yeah, we like to see whatever comes off the gutters go into like to a rain garden or something, just for the future.
What is at the site currently? There's a proposed building, but is there
It's
any?
right over here. There's a little one right at the bottom.
Okay. Existing, is that going to remain and then be removed later, or is it going to remain indefinitely?
No, that'll remain. There should be 2 wells on the site. There's a small underground tank, and then there's a pump house as well. So all of that will remain.
Got it. Roseburg Drive.
And they give us a sequence of work.
Flag. Lock retaining wall. And that's a turnaround? Is that why you're coming out with, like, in that shape?
Yes.
I mean, for the, okay.
Yeah, to allow the truck to pull in and be able to turn
But how
around.
often do you think you're gonna be changing carbon?
We expect it would be somewhere between once every year to 2 years.
So that isn't actually going into the flagging area, like, none of this is being built in the wetlands, it's all just in the buffer, is that right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Right, and this.
And did you get planning board approval?
No, we're currently going through planning board.
I gotta wait for planning board approval also, right? Or they want mine first? No, you get them first and then they come here. So-
They referred us to you, as we're going through their process.
And I'm gonna assume that all of these are with the planning board, right?
Yes, correct.
There's a small garden area on the southern side, it says garden area, is that,
That belongs to the neighbor.
got it.
Might be on our road.
Right, it might be on our property, but I guess it's been there for many, many years.
Understood. Not a problem. Okey-doke.
There's also a driveway. Also his.
And when do you wanna start this work?
All of it has been, in the application, we said March 2022 to wait October 2020.
But you gotta wait for the planning department anyway.
Right. We're under the same mandate to get all of this in service by August of 2022.
Are you building the equipment now?
So
Everything's ordered.
I noticed there's a ditch that's coming from a pipe that's coming across the road, 30-inch pipe there. Is that an intermittent stream?
Okay, which,
Yeah, it seems to be going,
you're in?
it seems to be on all of them. There's a thing that says ditch, and it comes from the road and then goes out to the,
Is there a sheet number on that?
sure, I mean, we were looking at number 1, but we're looking at number 4 now. So I mean, it's on several of them. Pipe that comes across Brook Avenue, goes into a ditch. The ditch flows from the Brook Avenue out to the wetlands.
Okay, the ditch that I'm looking at, this is the ditch here.
Yep, that's
And-
it.
Okay, and our scope of the work is not there.
Right.
So it's really the
Comes
natural.
from the, is that, what is that though? Is that an intermittent stream that's coming across? It comes from Brook Avenue. It starts over there with a pipe. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a crossing there. Yes. Yeah, there's the existing culvert there.
Okay.
If we didn't
Existing,
delineate it,
drainage
it was considered stormwater, and it didn't reach any regulated waters.
And it's dry all the time.
Yes.
So for the stormwater mitigation, what we propose is underground infiltration. Is a Coltec, half-moon plastic structure, and which is those rectangular boxes right there. And all of our scope of the work is away from the ditch. It doesn't affect on the natural flow for the existing ditch there.
Oh, so you're doing the Caltech, you don't need a rain guard then?
For stormwater mitigation,
that's
this is
fine.
what the stormwater mitigation.
Fine.
Yeah.
All right, so
Is there, I assume silt fence is being put around the entire site there? It looks like it, at least on the western side? And the
Correct.
Southern side?
If
Okay,
you,
great.
yeah, if you see the label, the line SSF, that is the silt fence, and on
Right.
top, we are adding also the construction fence right next to it.
Okay.
Label as CF.
Yeah, my calling out of that ditch is I just want to make sure that that doesn't get disturbed if it is in fact stormwater or an intermittent stream that happens to not be flowing in the winter. So I just want to make sure that that doesn't get like filled in or debris end up in it. So I see you have the silt fence around there, and that was my concern.
Correct, yep.
Fine.
We're just
Alright.
keeping it safe.
do you want to accept these applications, accept it, then contingent on, and then they have to come back anyway?
And then just on what?
Planning department, and then the SWIP approval
The SWIP is before, it SWIP's with
with Rich.
Rich right now? Yeah, sure. I mean,
I
don't-
can't,
I
the
don't
other
think
one
there's-
I'm not going to.
Putting in the Coltec here, I mean, the area disturbance that you have on here, what was that? I know you mentioned, I think you mentioned that before.
Hey, Ramya, do you have the area of the disturbance?
15,000 square feet.
15,000.
That's a lot.
15,000 square feet.
And the Coltec is to catch the new building's runoff? Is that what's gonna be going on?
It's catching the runoff from the new building and also from the gravel, because those are piping. So any water that really create the pipe flow, we are taking everything to the Coltec system
Great.
to really avoid the mitigation to the point flow to the wetland.
Dotted line? got it. That's that dotted line that's going into the cul-de-sac, correct? The piping that you just mentioned?
Could I come to you and it's easier that way?
Yes.
Okay, so
This dotted line here is the piping.
this is the piping, correct?
Beautiful.
And RD is the roof drain that coming from the building. And all the water that coming from the driveway, the gravel driveway, is coming in here.
Okay.
And we also put the trench drain there.
Beautiful.
So make sure you're not really taking any water away from the gravel and the proposed improvement.
Great.
And everything goes to the Kotek system.
Great. Any trees being cut for this?
Any tree?
We approved that last meeting.
All of there's a
For
tree.
this one?
Yeah,
Okay.
we approved trees for this one last time. 12, I think. It's not a lot.
All right.
Can I ask a question about approvals? So if your approval is contingent on the planning board, they're not going to make their approval contingent on your approval, right? We're
No.
just,
Yeah,
we're
we
not.
just keep you here forever.
Just a big loop,
Like
right?
ping pong.
Yes.
So, no, we just weren't sure of the process, like.
Well, no,
who
you need
gets-
to have planning board approval, really. They refer to you us because, you're in the wetlands, so they
Right.
want us to take a look at it, so that's what we're doing.
Right.
So you'll have to come to us anyway, and you have to have their planning board approval before you come to us anyway.
So,
So would you be making a report back to the planning board?
Yeah, I'll send Rose an email saying that we saw you and we made some comments, but, tell the planning board that, because, what comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? So,
exactly.
so, all right?
I think we can approve it without planning board approval. They still have to get it.
Contingent on planning board
Oh,
approval.
sure. So what that means is once you get planning board approval, you
Then we'll get the
automatically get
permit.
ours. That's what that
Right,
means.
we'll
then-
comply with all of your.
So what I'm gonna do is
requests.
this. So I'm gonna make a motion to accept Suez Water New York, London Bridge Wells at 39 Brook Street. Accept the application, this will put it on the clock, contingent on the following. You provide a copy of the federal wetland permit, copy of the DEC wetland permit, submit a spill plan, submit a fueling plan, store all equipment on 6 mil poly when not in use at night. I need the SWIP approved by the town engineer. And it's also contingent on planning board approval. And a note on the drawings that the wetland inspector is to inspect the silt fence prior to work and post-work, post-completion, upon completion. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so you're on the clock for this one. If there's a change, Rose will call you. Number 5. Good thing Ed isn't here tonight. You couldn't share. Somebody be left out. Yes, 70 Guymer Drive, Suez Water, New York, upgrade to existing well site.
And let Ramya take it away.
Same improvements, same upgrades. A new PFAS building, going to be including granular activated carbon to treat the water to meet the New York State standards. If you go to your the tree and lighting plan, that should be sheet number 6 for Guymer. You'd note that most of the work is in the buffer, and we're not disturbing the wetlands. But yes, we are in the buffer.
I remember this one, you're right, isn't it on the edge? Is this the one where you took the trees right next to the wetlands? Or is this
No,
one?
that's Chateau.
Chateau. Is this federal?
Yes,
You have permit?
yes.
DEC?
We're under technical review, so we don't have a permit yet.
Okay. We'll need a copy of the federal, we'll need a copy of the DEC when you get it. And of course, your application will be contingent upon us getting that as well. Area of disturbance,
For Guymer is going to be 0.17 acres or about 7,700 square feet.
okay, so SWIP is with Rich.
Yes.
What number is this? 5. Federal, wetlands, wetland. Same items, submit spill plan, fueling plan, store equipment on 6 mil poly. The SWIP is with Rich. You're contingent on the planning board. And wetland inspector to inspect. Prior to and post. All right, so walk us through. So you're gonna leave the existing building there, and then build a new building. You're also putting a portable generator there?
There's already a generator out there.
Okay. Okay. Has it got a belly tank or an above-ground tank?
Belly tank, double walled.
And it's monitored?
I don't know that it has interstitial monitoring, but it is a double wall tank.
And when was the last time you tested it?
It's only a couple of years old. I want to say we started buying them in 2017 and 2018, 2019, so they're new.
Okay, but I think what size is it, 500?
Good question. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I think 1,100. 1,100 is the magic number. You got to do yearly inspections on them.
I mean, we have them maintained regularly.
Okay.
You know, we have somebody come out, I'm not sure if it's quarterly or every 6 months, but we have them inspected because obviously you need them when you need them. In fact, we were using one of them today at one of the other sites. You know, we lost power and we had to go out there and get the generator going.
Beautiful. Okay. You're putting a new gravel drive in?
Yes, portion of it.
What was the disturbance again, you said?
About 0.17 acres or 7,700 square feet.
All right. You have anything? I mean, this is cut and dry.
So this is all in the buffer, none of this is in the wetlands, is that right? Are we losing any wetland area?
Well, it's all in the buffer.
It's all in the
Yes,
buffer,
it's
but-
all in the
Yes,
buffer.
it's in the buffer.
Great. No, I think that's fine. There was a tree cutting permit for this one already? Most of these, I assume, from last time?
Are you digging an underground utility?
We have to run pipes from the wells to the treatment building.
Oh, so the well and everything is up top, and then you're gonna run. Does that 7,700 square feet include the? Oh, you're still in the buffer. You're fine. You're still in the buffer. Just make sure you restore it. Put down there that you're gonna restore it with a wetland mix or something along those lines. Make sure it's graded, and you get nice, coverage with wetland mix or something that'll grow back. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna set the building and then run your line, set the building, and then just tie it into that existing wellhead?
When you said the existing well, so yeah, we're going to bring the pipes back from the well to the treatment building.
And then back to the main?
We're actually going to go out the driveway for two reasons. Because one, there's asbestos cement pipe that currently exists that runs through the wetlands. And it's only a matter of time before there'd be a main break. So we said, while we're doing this, we'll put ductile iron pipe in and we'll just go out our driveway and tie in the street. So we're going to make that improvement while we're touching everything out there.
Okay. So
For
with this,
gravel, do we have, it just occurred to me.
just again, clean gravel.
Clean gravel, so we need that for all the.
And just give me a
anything you're
certification
bringing
of clean
gravel
fill.
for, we need a certification of clean fill, but the gravel's clean.
What I'm thinking to do, we're going to provide the detail for the gravel driveway, and we're going to specify what material, whatever gravel to use.
Okay, don't use,
Recycle.
Yeah.
RCA.
Got it.
Fresh, clean
Understood.
gravel.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't have anything, just some additional.
Okay.
Green garden.
So with this one, I'll give you the same thing, we'll accept the application, but you gotta get me in this week, the other stuff as well. So, do I have a motion to accept the application for Suez Water New York for 70 Geimer Drive, upgrade to existing well site with the following conditions: provide a copy of the federal wetland, provide a copy of the state wetland, submit the SWIP for approval. This acknowledgement is subject to the planning board approval. Wetland inspector to inspect the silt fence installed prior to and post removal, completion of the project, and make sure that the trench for the new utilities have a wetland mix and mitigation for restoring the site, and no fueling within the, provide with the fueling plan, submit a spill plan, store the equipment on 6 mil poly, and that's it. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so you're on the clock. They can advertise this, but you're not gonna be able to get your permit until the rest of the stuff is.
Okay.
So on to this side.
What's the next one?
669.
Chateau.
Chateau. Chateau wells, yeah. Running out of space.
Another piece of paper.
No. I have post-it notes.
Chateau.
Yeah.
Okay, Chateau. So you're in the buffer again?
Yes, everything's in the buffer here as well.
Okay, just so we're for the record, this is for the application to discuss Suez Water, 59 Virginia Drive, upgrade to existing wells. Same representatives from the previous 5. So you're in the wetland, you're in the buffer, you're gonna leave the existing house.
Wetlands.
Again, you guys have a lot of driveway here.
Again, it comes down to the carbon trucks. That's why the driveways are so big.
Are they sucking out and replacing, or are
Yes.
they?
Right, so they have the multiple bays, but they're long trailers,
Yeah, I know.
so they're the most efficient way to do it, but
I'm sorry?
they're big.
Yeah, I know. And what about the federal,
Yes, we have that one approved.
state?
We have a state, and we do not have approval yet.
Okay. And that'll be contingent to your approval on this as
He's
well.
reviewing them all at the same time, so we'll get them all probably.
Yeah, I know. Procedures. Okay, so number 6. Federal, wetland, state, wetland. You submitted the SWIPs?
Yes.
And what's the acreage?
Of disturbance. It's about 0.2 acres or 9,900 square feet. 10,000 square feet.
Okay. Obviously, spill plan,
Same stuff.
fueling plan, equipment on 6 mil poly,
You own the property?
planning board approval,
Yes, we own this property.
wetland inspector.
Aside from that first one, are there any properties that you do not currently own that we're seeing tonight?
No.
Okay. Lake.
Okay, so just show us what you're doing. And you own all these properties, no easements, no, oh, so it's right at the end of McNair Drive.
Correct.
So what do you need all this parking then?
Sorry.
Right?
It's really for the carbon trucks to turn around, and I think some of that also came because I think Rich wanted to see, like, access plans and stuff for the trucks.
Yes.
Was part of that as well.
So what he was asking for the truck turning radius, so the truck would get in and safely get out from the site. So we had to show that actually works.
Yeah, we do have a truck plan in the set.
Right.
Yeah, I saw that.
I know the roads are tight, the residential. I mean, it is a cul-de-sac. I mean, they might be able to make it work.
Yeah, but they also do the gravel suck out, they'll suck it into 55-gallon drums too, you know.
Can't
So
you,
you don't need a very large truck like that. You can get a little smaller truck
I think so.
also, aren't you able to back straight out into the,
and McNair Drive.
I mean, it's a big cul-de-sac, it's not like you're coming out into a main road here. So I mean, if the truck pulls directly in, then pulls directly out, they have a very large turnaround in the cul-de-sac at McNair Drive. Not that you're in the wetlands, which is great, but I appreciate that, but I'm not sure that it's entirely necessary to have that turnaround when you have a.
If you look at the page number 7, we have the detail there, all these truck turning radius.
No, we understand that. I understand that, but what our point is that you come down McNair Drive, which is a dead end. So the truck backs in to that area, up close, tight against the building, does his work, and then he pulls straight out. So I don't know why we have to do all this.
Well, let's see, we're back at the planning board. We will suggest to them and see if they will approve that.
That sounds like a good compromise.
Yeah, we wouldn't be against doing that.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it as like, why am I gonna just disturb all this area if I'm at the end of McNair Drive and I just back up the, I mean, the truck is not that, it's maybe a what,
It's a pickup
25 foot?
truck.
No, it's
No,
not a
they're-
pickup
they're-
truck.
Oh,
No,
okay,
no,
that's what they have
they're
turning
very
radius
big.
listed as a pickup truck.
Oh. Large pickup truck.
20-foot truck.
20-foot truck.
That's what, I mean, that's what they have, that's what you guys have listed here is turning radius necessary.
No, I think the small detail it shows pickup truck, and at the bottom is a large pickup truck. Do you know approximately how big it would be?
So-
45 feet, right?
I'd want to say, yeah, like 45 feet, 60 feet for the big tractor trailers. They're pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was
Yeah,
just,
'cause I've seen, I mean, I've done this, you know, I've done it where you suck it out into barrels, which you don't need, you only need a regular 20-foot box truck. And then they horse the carbon in bags, and they drop the carbon into the vessel. I've also done it where they suck it into bins, and then they pump the carbon in. But that's a really big truck.
right.
So I'm just,
That's it. That's it. Those are the regular size trucks. Now, we are going through, we're bidding out the carbon contracts, and we're bringing everybody around to all the sites to understand what their requirements will be, right? So if we can get away with something smaller, we certainly would love to do
But-
that.
all right, this one we're gonna hold on to.
Yeah, even if you don't have a larger truck, it still is, you pull in, then you
I mean, the other
Pull
three,
straight out.
the other 3 or 4 sites we looked at, I mean, I get it, you know, but this one's right at the end, you're on a dead end. You know, the guy comes in, he comes down Bloomer, backs up McNair, backs in, we're gonna make a curb cut there, back in, and get right next to the building. Just saying.
You're saying, no, he'd back all the way down McNair from that,
Yeah,
whatever
he
the
comes
main
in,
intersection
yeah,
is?
Comes down the Union Valley, goes down the road, turns left on Bloomer, and backs up and goes right into the site, or he's got the whole the whole key there. I'm just,
Yeah, otherwise the rest of this looks fine. I see silt fencing there, erosion control, putting in a green garden, same thing that we've seen so far.
so this one we're gonna hold on to the approval on until, see what the planning board says, and if they say, if they like the idea, great. If they don't like the idea, then we'll just, then we'll accept it, because you're not gonna do all these at the same time, are you?
If they get approved, we'll do them. We're ready to mobilize on all of them as quickly as possible.
See, I don't wanna approve it, and then you come back and then,
No, I'd rather that come back. If we can avoid having to do that disturbance in the, like, I mean, that's a permanent disturbance into the buffer area, it's fine.
all right. You're coming back anyway.
Well, we have to accept the application is complete to advertise it, so,
The other couple, you know, they could
Right.
probably be advertised, the ones that we put on the clock.
Driver and London Bridge.
Driver and London Bridge.
So when you say that they're on the clock, like you would need our resubmission of everything we can provide,
Well, for the
Right
two that
now.
are on the clock, Guymer and London Bridge.
Right.
Submit us a letter and the plans that you have, the pieces of the puzzle that are missing, give it to us on Monday, email it to Rose. She'll give it to us, and we'll say, go ahead, advertise it. But I can't give you a permit until the planning board approves
Gotcha.
it, right? So at least you're advertised, so then when the planning board does approve it, you come here, no comments, we issue the we vote on it, we issue the permit, you're good to go.
gotcha. Okay.
But is there any real reason you can't put this one on the clock? I mean,
Because what if you go to the planning board and they say, that's a great idea, change the plans? So then I'd have to review it anyway,
okay.
right? I mean,
yeah, you're right. That's a material change. The other ones, I mean, were just things that were missing. This one is a plan change, potentially.
could be.
Could be.
I mean, again, I'm just trying to look at, trying to minimize disturbance, right?
Really good. All right, we're in the home stretch.
Okay. Number 7. Suez Water, 34 Coventry Circle. Upgrade to existing well site. Federal?
Yes, and approved.
State?
Yes, and not yet.
Okay.
And need a SWIP?
Yes. Okay. And you can submit it under review by the town engineer.
Excellent.
Okay, where, this is in the wetlands. Right?
thought it
I
was
should
just
see
in the buffer.
Yeah, this is,
This is the wetlands mitigation.
it's in the buffer.
Pond, stream, pond. That's not a pond, that's a stream.
Well, you're not building, you're building a gravel road. Again, this is another one with the other site where can you back down?
Right. There's a very, we're coming from Bucks Hollow Road all the way to our site. I don't know the length there, but it's a long drive, and it's a small dirt road. So you do need a big
Oh,
turnaround
I
area
see
for the
what you-
truck.
Oh, you made a really big, you made a really long road. What's the square footage?
Disturbance is going to be 21,000 square feet or 0.7
That's
acres.
the winner right there. assuming the circle, the bullseye we have here, that's the wetlands or that's the buffer?
Sorry, can I come?
This is, where's the wetlands flag by Steve?
Yes.
So this whole area is wetlands.
Yes. The buffer is marked on the tree plan. That's basically where the development is shown. We didn't want to crowd the site plan too much, so we put it, yes, page 6.
It's on page 1 here, there's a buffer.
Limits of, oh, you're right on the edge, you're in the buffer.
Yes, we're in the buffer, yes.
Okay. And this gravel road exists already?
Yes.
Yes.
This facility also has one additional treatment step. We have to remove iron and manganese in addition to PFAS. So there is an iron and manganese treatment or treatment facility or equipment in this building as well as the PFAS equipment.
Okay, so federal, state wetlands, give us copies, the SWIPs with Rich, we're waiting for the approval on that. Spill plan, fueling plan. Planning board approval. Wetland inspector.
And there's no construction within the actual.
And they're giving us a rain guard.
No, there's no disturbance in the wetland. Oh, there might be disturbance. I should check that.
I mean, I see on this, are you connecting something up to the Coventry Circle? What's this little pull out there?
So yes, we have to connect to the sanitary sewer. Because of the iron and manganese treatment, there's a backwash sequence, and we want to connect so that we don't have to just have a tank on site with the backwash water and haul it out. We'd rather pump it into the sanitary sewer.
Is there an existing connection there, or is there a new one going in?
Right, it'll be a brand new sanitary connection.
Got it. And you're going through, there's that parcel that's right there, so is there like we have an easement there. Beautiful.
Yes,
All
right. The water and the electric currently run through there right now.
Okay, great.
Just to your point, there was about 1,500 square feet of impact to the wetland, but that's just because of the fill.
Right, also the three-phase, the electric service along the edge of the gravel drive. Again, anything that's disturbed, you're gonna just provide a plan on how you're gonna restore. And you're gonna plant trees?
Yes, along the one boundary there.
It's right, yes. On sheet number 6, you'll see that we've proposed some screening for the residents
Right.
on Coventry. That's basically the only screening we're providing, because otherwise it's a very big site, so it's screened from other areas.
What kind of trees are you putting in?
So for that,
Maples, locusts, I see.
yeah.
Okay.
And what is are you doing any sort of groundwater treatment or anything like that, like rain gardens or?
Yeah, they give you a rain
Yes,
garden.
the stormwater mitigation will be provided by the rain garden, which shows the runoff from the rooftop we're taking to the rain garden, and the rain garden was designed based on the calculation for the water quality and also for the 100-year storm the peak reduction. And we prepared the full stormwater pollution prevention plan. Town engineer currently looking at it, so he has the whole package.
Okay. Any more questions?
So take me through a little bit on, if you're going to be hooking up to the sewer system, you're going to have backwash. How does that, is that all interior to the building? Is the backwash all happen? Is any of this being exposed? Like, I'm talking from the perspective of, is there a potential for any leaking or any of this getting into the groundwater in the area there, considering you're right on top of a wetland?
Well, it's a force main, so it will be naturally tight.
It's it's gonna be pumped out, it's gonna be connected to, after it backwashes, it just discharges.
Into the sewer system.
Discharges into the sewer system.
So there's not like any sort of, I'm looking at the proposed sanitary grinder pump that you have here, that's
Yes.
Exterior to the building. PVC sludge line encased in concrete. How do you, how is that going to be serviced? Is that like is that a manhole? Is that like, how does that work?
Well, we've got to get the approval from the town on that. That's another permit that we're doing in order to connect to the town sewer system.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure we have the details of that yet.
I think the permit's been submitted and the engineer had some comments and the consulting company has been working with them to address those issues, so that's where we are.
Right, we've been working with Rich on the sanitary connection and the loading and all of that.
The well is going to be replaced? Is that what I'm seeing here?
No, just the well pumps would be replaced.
Well number
There's-
1 to be replaced? All the way out on the... This is on erosion control, number 5. The pump with a well to the bottom left hand. It says well number 1 to be replaced. Well number 2 to be replaced as well.
I think that's just well pumps.
Those are the well
There's
pumps?
three well,
Okay.
yeah, there's 3
1,
well
2.
pumps.
All right.
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
All right, so I'm gonna make a motion to accept the application with the following conditions. I got the stuff in on Monday. The copy of the federal wetland approval, copy of the state wetland approval. SWIP has to be approved by the town engineer. Submit a spill plan, submit a fueling plan, store all equipment on 6 mil poly, put that in your plan. Planning board is approval, wetland inspector to inspect, silt fence pre-installation, installation and upon completion, and provide a restoration plan of all areas that are not getting gravel. And, making sure the area is restored to equal or better conditions.
Also
So-
clean fill.
And then provide a copy of a letter of certified clean fill. Do I have a motion to accept this application?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Until we do this again.
So, I mean, we'll do our best to pull things together as quickly as we can, but on some of these others, the tree permit, I think we should be fine. We can get you everything
Yeah,
by
the tree
Monday.
permits are good to go.
But some of these, I think it's going to take a little bit of time. I don't know that we can turn it around by Monday. Is that okay?
Okay, so
or-
then, does it get advertised, and then
Well, whenever they get it in. we
yeah,
can-
get it. I think she advertises on Tuesday. Goes out on Tuesday, so by the end of the day, Monday?
Well, whatever they
You're only
got, right?
looking at a spill plan, the only things you're really looking at are the federal state wetland permits, the SWIP is in Rich's hands.
Right.
Spill plan, fueling plan, easy. Planning board approval, nothing you can do. Putting a note on here that the wetland inspector will be, inspect.
Beforehand and after.
And then a restoration plan, I mean, we're looking at a couple sheets of 8.5 by 11, or a sketch or 11 by 17 with all those notes on it or something. I mean, it's up to you. You have until Monday to get it in.
Okay.
So the clock is gonna start, but I can't give you a permit until you get planning board approval.
Gotcha.
All right?
Okay. All right.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much.
We have to give her a summary tomorrow.
Yeah. For,
For me. For you. Okay, so with that, do I have a motion to close the meeting?
I make that motion?
Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? Aye. Good night, everybody. Be safe. Thank you. Good night.